City of mine, how I love the city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine, how I love the city of mine. It never gets me down, yeah.
I was born in the city, I was raised on its edges. My pop worked his life on its complex. I found love in its center. If I could live here forever, think it'd be for the better. I love the weather, even though it's fog 24/7. I love the people. This is city, I met all my best friends. And I wanna thank every brick, I wanna thank every entrance to every building that I step in this city of mine. I owe you most my best moments in life. See, I fell in love for the first time in Golden Gate Park. I saw my first rap show at Great American Hall. I used to beg my homies for a ride across the bridge to goof off and spend the whole damn day doing whatever we want. Keith drove us down to Ike's place while we'd roll up a blunt. And me and Jack would get stoned, walk around and get lost. Don't think I'll ever truly pay back all I was lucky to get just by walking through the city. No, I'm a small part of this.
City of mine, how I love this city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine, how I love this city of mine. It never gets me down.
I never really had a place to call my own, so I travel and I roam till I find that. But I'm full of adventure, so I wander and I venture, and it's safe to say that really I don't mind that. I book a flight to try to figure where my mind's at, a spot where I don't spend no money, just some time at. I mix and mingle with the people till I learn a little. I brought some weed and baby, maybe we could burn a little. She said you're funny, I said no, I'm Xavier, then I left. Sun shining, birds chirping, let me take a breath. I'm headed to the city where my chance to make it best. What people like to give a little, then you take the rest. I'm hoping one day maybe I can find a place to rest. I fell in love with life and wonder where it take me next. I like the hustle and bustle, I fell in love with the fashion. I feel the pulse of the city, it's moving me like a passion and it's mine.
How I love this city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine. How I love this city of mine. It never gets me down. Me and my hometown, baby, we go way back. All the situations, circumstances, still we don't mind. Steady going on, I dance around the street lights. Hey, I know every street sign, hanging around the block. Like if you are my friend, then you are welcome any moment. Yeah. City of mine, how I love this city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine, how I love this city of mine. It never gets me down.
Yellow! Aloha, fam. Good morning, welcome, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is that you are into. Welcome to the party. Today is going to be a dope day, gang. We are working on all things automations and shorts. See what I just did, Matthew? Shortcuts for creators, because where the heck did that come from? Stop. Oh my God, I know what it did. The other day, messing around with Keely, I attached a sound file to my scene, and it's super funny. Number one, never play that sound again, Keely, because I got a tag for that, for playing that, which is funny. I didn't think you would get a tag for playing the national anthem, but hey, well, anyway. Gang, welcome to the party. I got Mr. Matthew Cassinelli here today. He's going to talk to us about all things shortcuts and automations. Like, dude, this is so much fun. I have been tweaking out the last couple of days, and I've always had little sort of dorky rudimentary shortcuts, but I've been deep diving because now it's coming to the Mac where it's going to be way more fun for me, I think. But I've always done random things with my iPad and with my phone, just switching lights on and off. I mean, just dumb stuff. But now that I've been diving in and paying attention to my old buddies like David Sparks and Rosemary Orchard, and then a couple months ago, I bumped into Matthew in Clubhouse Room, and I had a fangirl moment when we were talking, and I was like, oh my God, hi, I've been watching you do this since workflow. And so it's kind of cool to have him on the show today. We're going to talk about that. Just want to say what's up to the family. I see you guys in there. Just want to remind you people, if you're brand new, please let us know in the chat. Just say new so that the family can give you the ohana, aloha, and the welcomes. And if you happen to watch this on replay, make sure you let us know, because you can still drop questions during the replay. I will come back and get them answered for you. So don't be afraid. You'll just, go into the comment section, leave your question there. If you run into a question today, please do me a favor and start it with Q:, and then answer your question. So that way I can find it easier in the ever fast moving chat. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on incredible man. He's been doing this stuff for a hot minute. He's going to change your life. You may not even know about the things your shortcuts can do. And that's always been kind of the weird thing about shortcuts to me until they dropped Siri. They called it Siri Shortcuts. And then it started telling you, hey, do you want to do this? And they would freak people out. Hey, my phone knows I want to do that. Well, once you get a tame on it, you'd be surprised at what you can do. It's quite incredible. So let's dive in. I want to say a big aloha to Mr. Matthew Cassinelli.
Hello. Thank you for
that was
the
100-mile-an-hour chat. Tell the family about who you are real quick.
I guess my name is Matthew Cassinelli. I used to work at the workflow team before it became Shortcuts at Apple, and then I stayed on at Apple for like 9 months covering support before I went independent. And now I've just been doing my own thing since then. I do iMore articles. I've got a podcast called Smart Tech Today on Twit with Micah Sargent, who's absolutely amazing. And then I run a membership program for Shortcuts stuff and a newsletter. But basically people can sign up and I teach people shortcuts like this live on streams, and then share exclusive shortcuts. And then I try to make everything eventually free, the shortcuts themselves, but otherwise you can kind of get in ahead of all that stuff going out live. So it's a ton of fun. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, let's pop over to here. Say what's up to the family, everyone. Good to see you guys here. Welcome. I'm not going to go through my standard greetings. You all know who you are. You all know I love you. But today we got a lot to pack in. So, hey, say hi to yourself.
Hello.
Except for Keely, we always have to say hi to Keely because I don't want to get stabbed. Just saying. From the what unlisted video? Oh, I know what it was. It was part of the maybe the stream that we posted. I was telling people, but yeah, I guess I'm dumb. Anyway, so wow, I guess for those who don't know, what would be the best way to sort of explain the Shortcuts environment?
Sure. At least, especially now that it's Shortcuts is on the Mac, which is amazing. I'm super pumped about that. Shortcuts is the way to automate things on your Apple devices, and it's the future on all of those platforms, iPhone, iPad, and Mac. You can also run them from, there's an Apple Watch app. You can run them from CarPlay, HomePod. Apple TV is the one holdout, but I don't think anyone's too upset about that because, like, why would you need it, really? But basically, it's the way to connect all of your apps together and do things to, like, all in one tap, or I guess now a click. I'm going to have to change that language too now that we're on the Mac. But basically bringing that scripting and the power of a lot of programming to regular people and enabling them to hook their apps together, interact with the web, control their devices, and do all sorts of things. So I've got shortcuts for pretty much everything that I can possibly think of on my device, which is, I go completely overboard, but my goal is basically just to share it with people and show how they could do some of the stuff that they do on their devices every day a little bit easier, faster, more accurately. Save you energy too is a big one. But
yeah, I think that's some of the key stuff is like when you can. Oh, I have this thing that I say over here about systems: save yourself time, energy, and money. and it turns stress time energy money systems. It has to do a lot with when you can get things down to a dope system, it almost becomes automatic. And people's like, oh, I don't really understand that. I was like, you do various systemic automated things every day without realizing you're doing them. They're just muscle memory at this point. So when you can create those things with your device, you can use your device for a lot more power. And, in the tech community, we joke about, the muggles only using maybe like 3-4% of their device, right? Watching YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and sending the occasional message. But your device can do so much more. One of the ones that I've recently got myself like deeply into is using Waterminder, because I will completely sit here and the bottle is right here. I mean, it's like within reach. And then I have the backup bottle right here, Hawaii water for the win. Like it's right here, right next to me. And I will sit here 4 hours and never take a sip. So now it pops up and it's like, yo, dummy, grab the bottle. And it just popped up just now. See, it's saying, make sure that there wasn't any important Ecamp slacks. Okay. Make sure that you drink water. And it's been helpful. It's been really, really helpful. And something as simple as that can not only just make your day better, but it's actually healthy. You know what I'm saying? And then next time I have to make one to remind me to eat, because I'll get busy and forget to do that too. So I guess let's walk through some cool stuff and just wow the folks, as I know you can.
Sure.
And then I guess we'll talk about in the middle too about like how people can find more over on your site. I became a member like a couple months back, I think, and I'm just going through this going, oh my, I didn't think you could, oh, what? I didn't know, oh my, you could do that? Oh my. And so it's just been constant like left, rights to the face as I'm like tripping over all the amazing things that you can do. So I
have like too much stuff at a certain point. So,
all right, let's see what you got.
Do you want me to show the iPad screen now?
Yeah. I'll pop you over here, and then I'll make, just so that people don't miss me, I'll make a tiny doc.
I might have to do some leaning, and let me know if my mic gets in the shot also.
Your mic is perfectly fine in the shot. I am a mic in the shot guy. I yell at people who say,
well, this shot, I mean, like, it's in the way. That's all.
There you go.
I mean, I will also say, disclaimer, I am running the betas on everything. So if there's issues,
welcome to
it's
the
totally
world.
not my fault. I couldn't avoid it, but I've got like a ridiculous amount of iPad home screen set up with all of my shortcuts on it. So I think that is actually, just to like start out, that iOS 15 is going to be really good for specifically iPad users to get more access to.
So far, that's my favorite feature, is having widgets on every page. Like it's incredible. I mean, it was already semi there with the previous OS, but this is way better.
Here, let me get this darker actually. Yeah. And then also I even have stacks in there because I have too many shortcuts. But in major ways, I separated out my shortcuts by color because that was one of the easiest way. Like, you have all these folders, but to me, the visual recognition of like gray is just shortcuts because there's not really a good single color for it. But like, I've got this whole YouTube stack, which is a little messed up right now, but I've got all these YouTube shortcuts that are just red. Red is YouTube, so pretty straightforward there. And then just the names and icons to differentiate them. But I like separated out my whole life into distinct sections that all are now color coded for it. So like, this is my podcasting stuff. It's all purple because podcast app is purple.
Okay, wait, you just broke something in my face. I consider myself a pretty smart iPad user, and hold on. Wait, it didn't go into like show me all of my pages. How'd you do that?
This is new this year. You can hide pages like you can on iPhone. So if you hide this, if you tap on that now, last year it didn't do this. So this is because you can hide and show screens, and then you can also set that with focus mode.
Shut up! It just did it.
Yeah. So.
All right, I'm sorry. I
no worries.
I have way too many pages, and I just consolidated it down by sticking everything in folders. But I think I'd rather organize them by pages if you can show and hide pages.
Yeah. And I
All
mean,
right.
the big thing with app library being here too is just that you don't need to store your things in folders and just like stick it
Yeah.
somewhere. So that's really nice. But then you
All
can
right.
also like
That
have,
had nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I'm going to rearrange my iPad today.
I mean, I think I'll just say it now. Shortcuts is ultimately about using iOS. And so it is, and especially because it's grown on the iPad, it's fundamentally about using the iPad to, or at least using the iPad to a degree. You should learn shortcuts because otherwise, I think that's a thing that people run into is they're like, I don't get the iPad. And it's like, well, do you use shortcuts at all? Like, if you don't, maybe that's part of the problem because this is how I get stuff done on the iPad all the time.
Oh, maze balls.
Yeah, so like it's forced me to get really deep with every feature of iOS because ultimately I end up using it here. But so like this one's more, I've been working on some of the widgets, but this is like my home screen, so I've got like the home stuff and then music kind of fit into it. So like these shortcuts here play on different, they just use an action called set playback destination, which is just the same as like tapping this and changing a source, which I have too many HomePods. But basically, this will like switch it immediately into the office and just start playing the music right here next to me instead of like 1, 2, 3 taps to get there. It'll just be right on the
Yes.
home screen right away.
Yes.
Um,
That's genius.
it-
That's an important one too, because I found that maybe it's just the betas. The iPads don't necessarily hand off well to the HomePods. Like you have to tap it a couple times and get it to like trigger, right?
Yeah.
So I think using the shortcut might actually do it better than you sitting here pressing the buttons.
Even with shortcuts, you can differentiate between handoff for like true handoff from AirPlay sources versus like casting or whatever, the
Yeah.
where you just like send. So that's when like use of shortcuts is you could decide in advance, I want the music to always hand off and not no longer be playing on the iPad but just on that system. So
Right,
that's
right.
like shortcuts is really good at that
That's
unique,
cool.
just like particular way do you want to approach the problem as opposed to just like Apple's built-in solution. And even like another one is shortcuts can control smart home devices. And so technically the HomePod is a smart home device. And if you have two, you can't set an audio pair otherwise. But if you use shortcuts, you can pair them, like this one that says play downstairs, pairs the HomePods together and then plays my personal radio station, which like you can't even do in the default shortcuts action. It's like a hack that I figured out through the home app. But it's like you can do it, you still can at least, as opposed to not being able to.
Yeah, gang. So if you're a smart home person like myself, India, Rob, there's a bunch of us that are like into all the smart home things. Make sure you're checking out Matt and Micah's show over on Twit.
Yeah,
Once in a
that's
while,
fun.
they let me play on Twit, which is fun.
I haven't even been on the main Twit, so I got to do that eventually. But
I'm gonna
maybe I'll
tell
try to
Leo.
get.
I'll call Leo. I'll let him know. I'm joking.
I was gonna say I'll hit him up when Shortcuts for Mac comes out. I'll be like, I need to get on this show. But
Yeah. I just sub for
Um,
Renee because I have the beard and I'm I can fake a Canadian.
yeah, fair. Renee's a boss. I do a ton with the music app also, just like because it's Apple Music, so it's got slightly better support than other stuff. But like I can open into like different radio stations just right away, and it'll automatically start playing and stuff like that. Or I have a whole fancy automation that those smart mixes that you get that are like
Yeah.
here's 10 songs for the week. Those
Yeah.
change and you always lose those recommendations. So I have an automation that for each day that playlist comes out, it will get the playlist and add it to a master playlist, and then that over time is just like every song that Apple Music has ever recommended to me.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is awesome.
Now here's a good question. Can you pull that info out, the metadata, into say a plain text file that I can pipe to like day one?
Yeah, totally. You could a huge thing with shortcuts is not on. Let me just show you too, so we can keep it practical. I see. Look at how many. I have more folders than most people have shortcuts.
Oh, I was feeling guilty about having like 20 some odd shortcuts. And then the other day, Chris was like, oh, I have, what did he say? Like, 61 or something.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
it was bigger than that.
Something like it's like 70 though.
Yeah.
I've gone through. There's a whole. I want to have more conversations with shortcuts creators because there's the whole like meta. How do you use shortcuts that I think we could still like. I've made a version of this shortcut that did all of these functions in one menu, but it just kind of got overwhelming to pick from a giant menu, and I think that's where I landed back on the widgets. I spent an ungodly amount of time in the pandemic doing this stuff too. So like this was my like I rewatched Game of Thrones like 4 times and then just like did this.
Oh,
while
that is my life. You know what? My missus makes fun of me because I have a Game of Thrones theme song dance that I do when it first comes on. I just go like mental. Like that's literally one of my favorite things. And so she's just sitting on the couch laughing at me, and I'm just like waltzing around the living room. Hey, Aaron, I can help you with that. It's actually very simple to do. Send me a DM and then I'll tell you how to do it. It's super easy. That's one of the powers of Ecamp that just makes it awesome and was really cool. Yeah. Also, just so you guys know, you could do like I have my iPhone 8 up in the ceiling to pull my overhead shot that's like looking at my desk, and then so all you do is put that on and then add a camera overlay. So yeah, it's actually relatively simple to do.
I have like I could point my little lens. I have a whole overhead rig specifically just to do this.
I have to send you my video on simplifying your overhead rig because you could do pull-ups on that bad boy.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it's like a green screen bar. Although I will say props to Ecamp for creating this rectangle because I asked them to add it because Apple did this during their developer sessions, and I wanted to have the little like, here's what's new in shortcuts, and then I'm like in this little window over here to just mimic them. Pretty much all of my ideas, I just copy what Apple did and make my own version.
Yeah, and it's cool. And I like the fact you leave your pencil stuck to the top too. It makes
exactly. It's like an advertisement. Like,
right. It looks dope. Because I leave mine up there all the time too.
I think seeing somebody actually build shortcuts with their hands, I think, is one of the things that's like interesting about it, because this is still, even once the Mac version comes out, I'm going to pick up my iPad and make them with my hands because it's just better.
Well, you know, one thing too, as you do this, you've watching your videos over time, you've developed a really dope Vanna White style. Was like you use your hands in a manner that makes it look good on things. I don't know if you changed it on purpose or it just became because you know you're being filmed, right? It's just it's better.
Maybe just like I got to work on my nails. I guess I never thought of that. Now I have anxiety, but no.
I'll take the just make sure you get the crypto gel. Be like, Matt, do you want crypto gel?
Yeah, it's really bad. I bite my nails though. But one of the cool things with shortcuts is that from a lot of times you end up getting data from some sort of source, and then you can like manipulate it in shortcuts. And so like here, actually a current song is what I was thinking. So like if you're listening to something, I have so many options. It's just like buried now. Let me put this in. This is probably going to be buggy, but like you can extract all of this metadata about the thing that you're working on. And so like you can have a little thing that's like, oh, you've skipped this song 20 times in the past, or like download the album artwork right away and put it in day one. So like I have that exact like song of the day type of shortcut would be like, let me just do it now.
So Aaron, this kind of covers your question about taking the generated playlist, like my favorites, and download those tracks automatically for offline play. In a way, it's very similar to what he's building right now. So if just like you're pulling your album artwork, you can tell it to take those and make the offline list. So that's kind of cool.
So this is like, you can get all of that data out. Let me see, even if I do, see, Shortcuts is smart too, because it can understand if I just get the image from a song, in theory that would break. It's just a song, but it knows that the artwork is associated with it. And so you can like go here and then just get the image out. This is probably not going to work. Oh, it did. Just because sometimes Shortcuts is like in the beta, it's really like stuff. Oh, sorry, the brightness is too much. Let me actually do dark mode. That's usually a little easier to see. Okay, there we go. So yeah, this could just be like song of the day. Oh wait, actually, See, look, there's supposed to be information here that where I can add in here, and it's not working. So this one probably won't work, but I'll make you a version. It doesn't need iOS 15 or anything. And I can just send it to you. That's just like log. What kind of thing would you want? Like log the song of the day, or
Yeah, song of the day, or like Aaron said, you know how they send you your list of these are your favorite songs. He says, take an Apple generated. Yeah, I should put this on screen, Doc. Come back, Mr. Aaron O'Malley. There you go. Take an Apple generated playlist like my favorites and download those tracks automatically for offline play. Yeah, see something like that. That's kind of cool because if you know the day that it's coming out, right? I think I would normally get mines on like Friday. You could actually even have a shortcut that remembers to check on Fridays for the curated list from either Apple Music or Spotify, and then like have it, pull that so that when you go to run, you hadn't forgot and you're not wasting all of your 5G data when you're out and about.
Yeah, you could even have it set to check for the Wi-Fi network, and if it's not connected, turn off cellular data or something like that and just fail. But yeah, like time of day. You can do sunrise, sunset, any time of day, any day of the week or month, all of this stuff. It's legit. And this used to not run in the background automatically in iOS 13.
Right.
I'm trying to even remember now at this point, but
it was
they did
like 14 and a half where they made 14 and a half is a real OS, by the way. It's when they made it so that they can run in silent mode, as I call it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a toggle that's called, it's in here. It's called ask before running. And I love, when this is I think the funniest menu on iOS. Don't ask before running. It's like, don't ask, or it's just like, it's your brain is like, what is this saying to me? But it's technically accurate, I guess. So
that is kind of funny. I like that, but it makes sense. Thank you, Aaron, for the super chat. I appreciate you, brother. I think, man, now you got me jazzed up about some things I can do musically, because one of the things that will be important, right? So we're about to hit the conference track again, right? So I have like 4 conferences coming up really, really soon. And the one thing I always find that I forget to do is, like, right before I leave the house, I'm rushing to try to remember to grab a bunch of, offline sounds or things in Netflix. I normally download Skillshare stuff or lynda.com stuff, which is now LinkedIn, just so I can watch on the plane. But even having something as like a reminder to like look at my boarding passes and remind me like the day before to pull all of this info. It's kind of genius.
Like it could, Gmail in general, or like calendar events generally get added by Siri automatically if it finds it in mail. So if it was just in calendars, you could schedule that. I think I like shortcuts that do for that kind of setup, like you were saying, like offline downloads.
Right.
Even just something simple that just opened all of the apps in a row, or like now actually you can do split screen. I don't know why you would want to do it in this situation other than just not opening 20 apps, but you could just have it like do open Netflix right away.
All right, so something weird just happened. Your camera situation froze.
Oh, is it?
Try switch scenes and switch back.
Okay.
Is you playing around with Monterey? There is going to be a new beta update today for us. That should make the Monterey stuff behave better.
I just entirely froze.
Yeah, that's what Glenn texted me while I was showing you my screen. He said he's going to send a new beta for Ecamp today.
Let me reopen Ecamp. I will say the beta works well, which is nice.
Yeah, so you should see 3.8.6 popping off very soon.
It is not showing anymore. And I did have this issue originally. Should I just switch back to my main camera?
Yeah, just try and see what happens. There you go. Now it'll probably go back, but here, let's timestamp just so we know. 29:30-ish. Okay.
Is that good now?
There you go. Now you're back to being you again.
Cool. Oh wait, actually, I think I have a weird bug with my camera where I need to open this other app and live monitor it. Otherwise, it's going to be really low quality.
Are you using Reincubate Camo?
I know I use Lumix Tether to tether my GH5, and
Yes.
Ecamp just like reads the video file input, which is great, but it only does, the camera just natively outputs a lower resolution one until I go into their streaming app, live monitor it, and then it just turns HD. And so like
I got it.
it's actually, I'll say it's a perfect shortcut because I need to do that every single time and I just forget. And so it's like anytime Ecamm Live opens, also open the streaming app, and then I could do that. So like,
That makes sense. That's actually pretty cool.
yeah.
All right, so I have a question from Rich. Rich is one of my homies in a group. He says, can you use shortcuts with Alexa or Google Home in automation?
Slightly. You might have seen there was a couple on my home screen. I have, if you
Just
can,
a couple, Matt.
yeah, like not, yeah, here, let me scroll through these thousands of folders. I'm going to try not to trigger mine too. The
A-lady?
Amazon app does, if you open it, it will respond to commands now. I'm trying really hard not to say this. So that's one way that I just realized that's like you could use shortcuts to open up your Echo device software and then just call out your commands to that if you didn't actually have an Echo around. I feel
Right.
like you probably do most of the time. You can literally have the speak text action, if you want, could run a shortcut that says something out loud that then triggers your Echo. That's like a little convoluted. But Google actually has support for shortcuts in. Oh, okay, I'm getting all these sync bugs. But they have an Ask Google action that lets you type in a question. So I have it here where I can just dictate the thing. But you could have like type to Google Assistant, and you just say, like, this can just give me a little prompt. Let me see if this works.
Now your options bar popped up that time.
Yeah, exactly. But like, it's not updating with the most recent data. So like, this is all beta stuff. That's like, I basically like can't make shortcuts the way I normally would because it just like doesn't save, or like there now it showed up. I have like a whole meta how I'm dealing with shortcuts bugs right now. Rob, I will not say her name. So yeah, now it'll be like
Your
just a
radar
little
must be
prompt.
like 12 pages long. Oh, sorry. Radar people is the fruit farm language for send bugs to the team.
Yes, I have
As-
all of it. It does
as
open the app.
Matt and I
but,
are both ex-farmers.
see, look, I just turned off my lamp. So
That's cool.
now, how do I get this back on?
Uh,
Turn on the office lamp.
there you go. I remember one of the first ones I did was a thing where you could text things. You could text things to Hugh to make it turn lights on and off, and that used to be so much fun.
Nice.
And yeah, it's kind of funny that. Aaron has a cool question. Actually, makes more sense because I have found, Aaron, that I did something like automatic focus mode, and I didn't realize it, but I hadn't added the person that I should add to the focus mode, and it's like, why are you ignoring me, huh?
Did you?
But yeah,
I did that yesterday on the 4th of July because I hadn't set it up. My friend showed up and called me, and I just didn't. It was on focus mode, and so it didn't ring at all. And I was like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah, so that won't get you kicked out of the house, Matt. I forgot to add the little person over there to my focus mode, and so she's texting me, and I'm missing everything. I'm down here editing a video in my headphones, but I didn't realize that one of the cool things about focus mode is it can actually automatically figure out what you're doing. But I agree with Aaron. I'm wanting to make a focus mode that Tuesday, Saturday, 8:00, I'm here, period.
Mhm.
Right? So it's also in my calendar, Fantastical or Google Cal, because they're both the same thing. I can actually probably tell it if you smell if you smell a YouTube link, right, from, I guess, the RSS feed, check the calendar or check a Zoom link. If any of these things are happening, automatically switch the phones and the computers to focus mode so I don't do things like forget to mute Slack. Today,
Yeah.
I did it, so you didn't hear Glenn tell me, "Doo-doo-doo," let Matt know that we're coming out with a new beta in a couple hours. But Yeah, so that's a good, I guess, kind of workflow.
I do think the one thing with shortcuts that is not the same as Zapier is it can't like detect that something changed, which I do really want, like that, where it's like just automatically look for calendar events, and if this happens, then change the settings. The focus mode itself does just have some of that feature in it, where like, of course, I have way too many focus modes, and that's what I was going to get to is all of those home screens,
dude.
that I mean, I'm going overboard. It's my I have a very maximalist philosophy, and then I pare down after that point. But
I think I'm right there with you.
it's also because of all of those home screens. So let me just, the smart activation thing, like it could figure out just on its own from the fact that you have that calendar event and that you always turn on the focus mode during that calendar event. I think it'll eventually just assume
Do it
and then just do it
automatically.
for you, which is nice. Because that's like a thing that I do want more is, as much as I could have every single condition set up exactly how I want, I'd rather have it just figure it out for me, because ultimately it'll like
Right.
mess
Then
up
you don't
at
have
some
to
point.
have 12 pages of focus modes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
Well,
what you're
and
talking
then
about.
again, if you do something crazy like forget to add the misses to the thing, sorry, that was personal. If you forget to add somebody important to the right one, like if I'm doing a work one and I don't add like Ken, Glenn, and Katie to let their messages come through, and they'll be like, "Is this dude at the beach? He's supposed to be, he's supposed to be in
And
the
it's-
office," and they think I'm in Waikiki, like doing backstrokes or something. So. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool that it can self-figure it out. I think that's quite impressive.
But you can also automate it specifically at times, locations, or apps. So that's probably the big one, is just like if you always open Ecamp or like even just the YouTube Studio or something on your iPad, then it can figure it out. And I will say, the thing that sucks right now is there's no automations on the Mac app. So we can't do this kind of, when I open an app, automatically trigger my shortcuts. But I'm curious. I can't tell if that's just like because it's the first version or something. But anything that you do on your iPad with focus modes does sync over to the Mac. So there is some option there.
Well, that's cool.
But even a focus mode can also, so you can set focus modes. Yes, I do need an image. I saw that.
Super funny. Rob is with the jokes always. Hi, Rob.
See, it doesn't help that my membership feeds into it. So it's just like I get worse and worse over time. But you can
guys,
set
you
focus
definitely
modes.
should join. Go to the site, MatthewCassinelli.com, and then click on membership. It's going to cost you $5, and it will probably help you get up to speed a lot quicker. And then if you're absolutely like, I don't even want to play, I just want to use stuff. Here, this is it. If you just want to use stuff, you can come over here and then go to the membership page. And mine's already logged in.
Yeah,
so
click
it's
membership and it should show it.
yeah,
I'm terrible at web development also. But like, yeah, I just wrote up like 8,000 words on how to use shortcuts, all the new actions and stuff like that. So that's all like membership things. And then, yeah, live streams.
I'm actually showing behind the scenes things.
No, that's the right one.
Say, don't look over there yet. But gang, yes, it is super awesome, and you can learn a lot by fooling Mother Nature. No, you can learn a lot real quick by just spending the time, do that. And again, like we said when Rosemary was here, get her book. In between those two things, you can be up to speed really quickly. Or hit up Mr. Max Sparky, aka David Sparks. Comes to visit every once in a while. And he's a big Disney guy too, Rob.
I gotta just teach all y'all about or building some specific versions of these, because like you can set focus modes with shortcuts to turn them on. You can also have automations where anytime a focus mode activates, any shortcut can run. So this is actually really powerful. It's like if I go into Ecamp mode, the lights just turn on automatically and stuff like that for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the home screen hiding is the big one. And this is all super buggy, but I'll just show you. So you see how I have all these home screens? It's like when I go into, let's do podcasting mode. It's a bug right now that shows app library, but it only shows just my podcasting home screen. So now there's only that one, and I can't like get distracted by all that other stuff.
Oh,
yeah. So that's why I have
How you
this.
like that?
Dude,
switch
that
to
is incredible.
YouTube mode is like my main screen, shortcuts, YouTube. I think this was for smart home stuff and then researching so I don't get distracted by Twitch or anything like that over
You
on the
could
side.
even do that for your different shows because your home automation shows, you're going to want to show all your yellow stuff, right?
Yeah,
In your
exactly.
in your shortcuts live streams or your membership streams, you're going to want to show like building shortcuts. So
I don't have a stream one yet. That's a good. Here, let's.
that is so cool.
So you
All right,
just
dude,
go
we're going to
in.
build a focus stream right now. Yes, Rob, you can share these with the wife or anybody else for that matter. So, yeah.
They have limited icons right now, which is a shame. I don't know why. Or maybe I can do an emoji. No, guess it's a game. And then just like only these people, which it starts to recommend people that you've allowed for others. And then I don't know, it just kind of picks apps randomly. But these are all things that I think I just need to go back through and filter over time. But then, so you can see this is a lovely beta thing. So I'm pretty sure this just won't work until I do it like 4 times.
Hit the
There
custom
we go.
pages like 4 times.
Yeah, I don't know why. think
Parker
that
said you're
one-
blowing his mind, and Fulgens said very dope. Mind blown right there. Yeah, see, dude, you guys don't even know. Matt exploded my head while we were setting up because I was talking about like sending out tweets whenever the stream goes live, and he goes, "Yeah, just use the YouTube USS feed to send out."
Yeah.
USS. What the heck? I just made YouTube a boat.
USS YouTube. I love it.
The RSS feed. Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Here,
brain
look.
dead.
Channel links. This is. I'll just do Chris Lawley's videos since we were talking about him. These are all bugs too. It's gonna give me prompts every time, but this will just scrape. Oh wait, maybe that's broken. I probably broke it. This is also the fun of doing it live. It's goes wrong all the time. Oh yeah, that's totally broken. Okay. Huh. Something's gone. This is like Shortcuts does just tend to disconnect actions in the betas. So if you are like reliant on Shortcuts, definitely either file feedback immediately or don't do it. That's probably why.
I've been having fun playing in the betas. Oh yeah, do you think by switching into one of your focus modes, you actually killed something and needed to talk to?
I don't think so. It doesn't like limit the connections. I bet. Or YouTube could have changed something too.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to.
I
This
think
is
they
like
do it on
supposed to
purpose.
scrape it. Yeah. So something's wrong there. Oh look, that feed is right. Oh wait. Copy. That's just the link. I see. I think I was just doing the wrong one. Let's see. Nope. Oh, it's still going wrong. Well, it's a fail. Oh, there we go. Okay. So like these are all of my videos, and it just pulled that from the RSS feed, and then it's like shortcuts, widgets, this, and then it gives me a prompt, and so like I can even just open it right away, send it to somebody, or just copy the link. So let's just
Oh,
do.
see, that's cool. Because, okay, you mentioned making, like, I know it was like 2-3 weeks ago, you mentioned making a playlist of resources for people that needed to follow the shortcuts. So just follow this playlist and then you'll kind of get everything. So if someone asks a question, like on Instagram or Twitter or somewhere, you can just grab that real quick and have it. You don't have to go to YouTube
Exactly.
and get the list.
Share,
and
copy the link.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my
It's like a
goodness.
pain in the butt. I'm always doing that. I'm always referencing my old videos or something like that. So then this will just.
I need
copy
to
it,
do
and
that.
then
You
it's
know why?
fine.
Because I get a lot of questions about various things in Ecamp, for instance, right? So we have an Ecamp feed on the page that's called Feature Friday, where I cover a single feature of Ecamp every Friday. Well, I can take that playlist and just use a shortcut, grab that playlist and send it to a person, be like, your answer is in here, plus answer about the next 8 questions you'll have
Yeah.
is in here.
I mean, I'm not sure if you do anything on like the blog, but it can also like format it in Markdown for you so that when you paste it, it's like ready for the HTML and everything. That's pretty legit. If you're a blogger, there's a ton of really good. I saw your face over there. Yeah, this one will even just using your channel. Look, I could probably just put yours in. Let's
Rob
see. Is it
said-
just
Just
Is
Doc
it just
Rock.
Doc Rock? Okay.
Yeah. Rob says we're gonna need a cleanup for all the minds blown around here. The zombie cleanup crew, brains everywhere.
Let's see. This should Doc Rock, right? So,
Right,
not
Aaron,
incorrect?
same thing. Like I didn't even ever think about the RSS feed. I know it exists. I just never thought about using it like that. But
It's not easy to find. But this shortcut scrapes it for you. So look, these are your videos right now. I just typed in your channel name, and it scraped it all for you. And then let's see, where's Rose? There's that
Right
one.
there.
And then let's do Safari because it then allows you to watch it in picture.
Yeah, YouTube, come on, fix that, please. Like,
It should be coming. I think it's just not on the betas.
dude, I want them to hurry up and fix that, and I want them to hurry up and let me use keyboard commands. I have this lovely freaking $350 keyboard. I want to control YouTube with it. Damn it.
Bam. I mean, so the stream promotion, what you were saying of watching the video live, is it could get the thing for you automatically, pull the link, pre-write the tweet, prompt you to just hit enter, and then you're good to go.
Oh, that's.
I did another one. I'm just going to keep going with YouTube.
Project. That's going to be my weekend project, making a pre-stream and post-stream like tweet. Like in the post-stream, I'll actually put a delay on it that it doesn't send that tweet for like 2 hours to give YouTube a chance to like at least polish the low quality one. And then people who, the replay squad, right? People like Kevin who has to teach school and dip in and out, right? It can be like, oh, I can catch
Let me
that
show
later.
you. So this one these are all just using the same links, and I realized that YouTube's URLs at the end use that video ID, and then like if you put the comments and then these filters, this would be like answer comments that haven't been engaged with on a video. It's like very, very specific pages on YouTube I can get back to right away. I love. See, this is why I do love. There's so much more for creators than.
Bruh, dude, that's okay, gang. You see that? Like having
Analytics,
a shortcut that pulls up and lets you know the comments. And I tell everybody who's growing their channel, the one thing you have to do is like take time to dive in and answer those comments. So you could take your iPad with you to the Oval Office, and instead of just sitting in the Oval Office staring at yourself, you can answer comments.
Shame on me. I haven't responded to these comments. See, it's like it adds that filter.
Dude, that is so cool.
These are ones that I am particularly proud of, but like nobody who's not a YouTuber doesn't care. Like it doesn't mean anything to them. But
oh
for
no,
a YouTuber,
that's all of us are
yeah.
YouTubers, so that's life right there. That's important. That is super
I think this
cool.
one does the stream page.
You're killing Aaron. Aaron, we're gonna send over a defibrillator truck to your house real quick just to keep you square.
Where was I have one that's I thought it was in here. This will add it'll do the same thing, but it'll open you to the page where you add the cards to a video, because I always forget how to do that.
Oh yeah,
this is supposed to.
So you don't use TubeBuddy or anything like that?
I do, but it only works in Chrome, I believe.
Oh, Safari.
It's
buggy in Safari, but the new Safari killed it. It was fine, and the new Safari killed it, but hopefully they'll fix
that's what I was gonna say. I haven't used it to the extent that I should though. Like I'm just like, I honestly have only made like 20 YouTube videos total, which is been doing it for like 3 years, which is not great. I need to make a lot more, but streaming actually helped a lot, because part of the problem is I just have so many freaking shortcuts that people are like, what's the best shortcut? Just make me a video on like how to use shortcuts. And it's like, dude, this is literally everything. It's like all programming, every app that you could think of. There's 44 ways to run a shortcut.
Okay, so now I'm going to help you. All right, switch to your face. I'm going to help you, because this is what I do.
I love it. I could use all the help I can take.
Right? Camera junkie, correct. Okay, first of all, you should just jump into our group. You're squared away. You're automatically family in our group, because that's how we are. So one of the things that kills us creators, and myself included, is we have so many things in our head and we do all of this stuff. And, you take somebody like us, both of us being ex-fruit farmers, there's things about the Mac that we just know because it's just second nature. But when you talk to any family member, right? Talk to the oldest person in your family, the youngest person in your family, and they will be like, oh, I didn't know that you could send a message and pay someone for lunch,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
So in an instance like that, you think about, you could make single videos that just talked about a shortcut. Now, you're busy, and I know you don't want to sit there and make thousands and thousands and thousands of videos. Most of these you can cover in a short.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Most of these you could cover simply, even if it's, here's the shortcut, here's what it does, this is how it makes your life better. You can get this by going over to the site. If you remember, you know, I'll have videos that show you how to build
Videos,
things
yeah.
like this, right? You, in your iPad right now, in that cluster F of an iPad, you have 400 videos right there. I just passed 500.
Yeah, I have 100. Yeah.
You literally have all the videos you need to make right there. And then the other secret is, I don't like doing this, but this is what everyone will tell you. Pick a day, create like 10, and just leak them out once a week over the next whatever. You know what I mean?
That's the big thing. It's like the whole workflow behind it is ironically the part that I had. I mean, I spent a lot of time during the pandemic trying to like systematize some of this stuff too, so that I can like sort of pull the trigger on some of that stuff. I literally have an Airtable where I track all of the ideas so that I can basically like pull the information straight out of that and then log it all. So I'm
But
building
the
a
volume
whole-
for you is going to be, now remember, like, because in beta you can get a lot of stuff working, so you know that they already work, and not a lot's going to change for certain stuff. I would do those now, because come September you could just have them auto upload.
Just ready,
you know,
yeah.
oh, you're already hidden. I mean, you just have them automatically switch to public, and you can set
That's a
the date
good
when you
point.
upload. So the week that Monterey is released, you can spit out 10 videos.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And they're already done. you're just sitting
What do
back
you
watching.
think about the? I struggle with the feedback loop of that, where like I feel like I would make 10 bad videos and then
So
it's like, oh, this didn't communicate. Like I struggle a lot as especially like being an expert doesn't mean that I'm a good teacher, and I'm not trying to like bash on myself, but it is just like what I could do versus how to explain it and like succinctly and making. I think I have this sort
the
of
only way you're going to
interesting
find
fear.
that was me. The only way you're going to find that groove is make it and have people tell you, okay, dude, that was super dope.
Exactly.
You forgot one step. And then you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, how did you do? Oh, that's obvious. You just click the app and you open it, and they're like, hey, I didn't know that. And you're like, okay, shit.
I think that's why
gotta
for me,
remember
like
to add-
streaming is kind of like my practice, where I'm trying to even just like get out the fact that I have these hundreds of ideas, because otherwise I think it is like I could have in one day I could come up with like 10 more shortcuts, and so it's like it's always going to get bigger at the top.
So don't
I
even
totally
go
appreciate
crazy
that.
editing for now. For now, honestly, I would just, you can actually do
Yeah,
this
that's a good point.
completely simple. Stream them as you build them, right? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to
what
show you guys
I
how
do
I
for the
built
members
this,
at least,
right?
so.
And then be like, stream this while you build them, and then that builds up your streams, right? And that builds up your recording capability, and then you just go, right? And then one thing that you, well, see, it's yeah, you can do this while you're live. So you're no, damn it, I take it back. It'd have to be the membership connected to YouTube, because what you could do is like, I'm going to do this live. I'm going to explain how you build this. This is a member only thing. If you are a member, then you can see it, and here's how we do it. But unfortunately,
I just unlist them. That's what I do right now. Is I like do them live. It's always like hard to figure out that balance of like, should it be live? Because then I was trying to do like unlisted live streams, but then just nobody knows about it, so there's no interaction.
unlisted live streams kind of suck.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's the thing. So for me, I just leave them all live. But I do, one of the things I do for the Drop Squad, you know, which Rob just posted the link in there somewhere. Those people can come to the weekly Zoom, and so we hang out every Saturday, and we like do what we're doing right now. We help you unsolve where you're stuck. And then it's cool because your community will guide that for you, bro. Like they would tell
totally
you,
what
you know, Matt, like this is great, but this, you should do this more often. I like this style, you know, some of the automations that are down here for the less nerdy people that we can then in turn pass on. Well, I don't say we because we are the nerdy people. But if you teach us how to take some of the less nerdy stuff and pass it on to our families so that they can start using it, Shortcuts as a whole becomes better for everyone because we're teaching them how to do serious things, right? So when I got into my YouTube coaching, I'm like, I wanted to coach people who will be in turn become coaches themselves, right?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the more people that drag more people into this environment, the happier folks are just going to be, because this is a absolutely glorious environment. Like my community, I can't say how much I love them. They're so amazing, and they teach me, they help me stay focused and going. So I mean, yeah, dude, you literally have so many already set. Even if it was just telling them that this is available and you can get this from the catalog, you're going to get your members that way.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what
a
I
good
mean?
point.
Because they're going to come to your catalog and be like, I didn't know you can do that. And then it'll be like, well, there's even doper stuff inside the membership. So you can use this as your top of funnel. I hate those words.
Exactly.
But
I mean, that's totally the
that's what
idea,
it
at
is.
least.
Yeah.
I think the part that I do run into is like, because I spend time on the membership and just like I'm like doing WordPress development in the background, which is like sometimes just kills me. I'm like, I do want to spend more time at the top, but I've been trying to nail down the whole flow so that to guarantee it is a good experience along the way. And the same thing, I do want it to be as free as possible. And so like I do a lot that I do give away for free, which sometimes might be a mistake. But it's still like, I think that blend of, I want people to use Shortcuts. I don't just want to be really good at it, because
So this is where Buy Me a Coffee comes in, because I'm with you. And I was like, I just want to teach everybody all the stuff. And then the Keeleys of the world, she's down in here. And then my buddy DJ Strick, they're like yelling at me. And it's like, listen, dude, in order for you to be able to keep going, you have to charge for some stuff, right?
Exactly.
Because that gives
that
you
was kind of the biggest thing with YouTube is like to
yeah,
hit that scale takes a certain amount of input and time that I think now that I have my membership, I can hit that in a reverse way where like now it's actually sustainable already. And then I can just be like making cool stuff and having fun
right.
with it.
Well, so for the
So
people
I totally
who don't
recognize,
want
I
to
was gonna say,
be, for the people who don't want to be like full-on members because they just don't think they're going to use it, you should definitely set up your Buy Me a Coffee page.
Yeah.
And normally when we're streaming, I have this turned on. And then what happens is people will send you your donations and things like that. And it adds up a lot quicker. I will tell everyone it's way better than Patreon. Patreon was great at the time, but there's things about it I don't like. The thresholds you have to meet, the fact that people have to make an account, the fact that people have to like want to be there every single month, all these other things, it just doesn't really work.
Yeah, I have that
this is
problem
better.
with membership too.
Yeah,
mine's built on Memberful, so it's like it doesn't have the same where even just like I don't want Patreon. I mean, like it's fine if you want to support me, but I want to give you the value for the money, and then otherwise I want it to be free. And so I think that's it's definitely been a balance over time, but I think I'm striking it now more than ever. And I think a big thing that's going to make a difference is just that Shortcuts is on the Mac, and so ultimately I don't have to like justify somebody switching to iPad to be able to get this to be done. And at the same time, if you have an iPad, it's even better because Shortcuts is like the best there. So I think this is a really big change that
it's going to change
doesn't mean
life,
that I have
bro.
to, exactly.
You don't
Like,
even
it's
know
so
it
nice.
yet. It's going to change your life. Because
I have to like learn how to use the Mac again too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who just use their iPad as entertainment devices, which always cracks me up. I'm like, you have no idea how powerful a computer that is. Well, especially if you do something stupid like buy a fully loaded M1 version.
I don't even have one right now, but I'm interested. I mean, that's the whole story too. That is going to be interesting. But there's definitely stuff on my iPad, like because of Shortcuts, I can tap into those RSS feeds and web APIs for services that you can do on the Mac. But I don't want to learn to code. I still don't know how to code, but I can program stuff. I am like a personal developer as opposed to a professional one. And so it is like,
it's kind of like personal trainer. You know, you were doing a this is
$100 an hour. Let's do it.
old video. This is a super old video, and I remember this from like maybe the first switch over to Shortcuts from Workflow was you was doing a video about calling your daily agenda. Now I'm sure you had way better one now, but as you were building that, you were explaining the if then loops and the otherwise do X, and I'm like, holy crap, this is all the way back to like CS 102 when I was a wee lad in school. But only thing that was missing was the teacher with the coffee mug and cigarette breath.
I got my mug, so you just can't smell my breath. No, just
it was amazing. I was like, yo, this completely reminds me of my early programming classes. And then so there's people that say they can't program, but they program stuff every day. They just don't know it because they think
exactly.
A lot of times you put the word computer in front and it just slams the brakes on people's thoughts. Two things that Shortcuts brings to my attention. I think it helps take some of that crust off of, programming, but people do it in their daily life all day, every day. You do algorithmic and logarithmic conversations with yourself in your head on a daily basis. Yeah. We just learned how to like do it in paper, and I learned it back when you had to get a little plastic template and draw flow charts.
Fair. I mean, totally. It's like I don't want to know that I put the curly brace in the wrong spot, but Shortcuts is just like, it's like Legos. So it's just got those building blocks that you just connect together. And then I think even interestingly, the iPad story does it can just help you go from like, oh, I just automated my lights turning on to like getting into the deeper stuff. Like Shortcuts is that bridge that people have never had into actual programming. And the fact that it's on and every single iPhone in the world, like the Mac is great for people who are using Macs and doing professional stuff, but this being on the iPhone, I think is going to be one of the biggest things that it can just bring programming to the literal masses in a way that was never, ever approachable before. And just like, there's a shortcut for that kind of thing.
And I think the thing that's amazing to me, and I've heard you say this many times, is it's that first hurdle of learning that what Shortcuts can do. And then once you see it, you start hunting shortcuts. You start looking for shortcuts that can do various things. And some of the simple stuff, some of the mundane stuff, like I remember back when I was heavy into OmniFocus because of Merlin and David. And we first got location ability for like rolling the Costco, and it could tell OmniFocus to pull a list and then show you what was on the list. Yeah. Well, eventually that gets roped into location services and reminders. And now reminders is so good that I actually have separated lists now for Target, for Costco, for Whole Foods, for the Home Depot and things like that. And when you roll in, your phone can be like, hey, you're at the Home Depot. Don't forget to get, XYZ. That kind of stuff is crazy, right? So now it just becomes remembering to tell yourself what to put on the list. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think for most people, remembering to capture was always a problem. But when you open up your phone and your phone hits the home screen and you have your shortcuts in there, like one of my shortcuts is Captain's Log. So nice. I hit that, and it automatically opens up day one, record a message, right? So I can just say something to day one real quick. And instead of using voice memos, I'm weird, I use day one. But you could do it with voice memos.
Did you get that title from me? Because I had one that was called Captain's Log for a while, but it was like, I'm just curious, or it's just great minds. Because
it turns out that Rod Roddenberry is one of my friends. We met at Macworld years ago, and then I said something to him that I probably should never repeat. I was like, I have been hanging out with him for a couple of days. And then so there's like me, Roddenberry, Brett Terpstra, Adam Christensen, a bunch of the Mac luminaries. We're all walking. We're going to go to a bar to have some drinks at macOS Ken. And I was like, Ken said something to Rod. Oh, instead of calling Rod, he actually called him Roddenberry. And I was like, Roddenberry, that sounds like a porn name. And then he laughed. And then I was like, wait a minute. Like, Roddenberry? And he was like humbly, like, yeah, that's my dad. And I was like, whoa, hold up. Like, we've been hanging out 4 days and Gene Roddenberry's your dad? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, your dad's responsible for like millions of 13-year-olds never getting laid until they're 21. Something stupid like that. And then he's like, I like this guy. So we became like good friends. We always talk all the time.
That's awesome.
And then, so yeah, like I was a hardcore Trekkie, but I've always been both stars. I've been bi-starred. So I'm both Star Wars and Star Trek. So yeah, it was a thing. But so that's why I have the captain's log, because just from captain's log, Stardate.
That's fair.
Oh,
exactly.
I wonder if I can make it preload the entry with Stardate.
Probably. Is there like a API? Is that a?
Oh yeah, Day One has. I only found out recently that Day One has a lot more integration. What I was doing was just recording him as voice memos, but then our friend Mrs. Ork was like, "Yo, listen, dude, Day One has all of the stuff in Shortcuts," and I was like, "Shut up! I've been doing it the hard way, like round tripping things." But yeah, it's actually, you can do so many things with Day One now. So yeah, and now that it's WordPress, it's going to be even better.
Yeah, that's true. I do think Stardate, if it's a calculation, there's definitely got to be a way.
Oh yeah,
that you could like do all the formula in Shortcuts. I guess maybe it's saying Century might not have it.
Oh, I think there is, because of Text Expander had a Stardate text expander, and so yeah,
but there's an API. Somebody probably made one that you can just call and then it'll convert it for you.
I'm sitting here typing on my iPad, wondering why my Mac's not doing what I wanted it to do.
Universal control is going to be really awesome for
Man,
Shortcuts.
I wish they would hurry up. Oh my goodness, that is driving me crazy. Every day I'm checking the developer app. Okay, universal control working yet? Universal control working yet? That is going to be a game changer. And like everybody in our community has bought like Luna displays to kind of halfway do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sorry, Rich. Rich said we're geeking out. I'm looking at Stardate API to see if it's in here.
Yeah, exactly.
That's super funny. Oh, yes, there it is. Stardate API. Read the docs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can do it. I see it.
Okay. I'll get it done.
Oh, my God. Dude, that's super funny. Yeah, I think that a lot of it, gang, has to do with, starting with your good starting resources, right? So, there's a couple videos on Matt's channel that covers the basics, right? And then once you see one, I swear to you, you will start biting. Because as we were just doing stuff today, look at the amount of jaws that are dropped. And why I think this is important. First of all, just sorting your pages on your iPad. Like I'm stuck the rest of the day. I got stuff to do, and I'm gonna be like, Katie, my internet broke. I gotta do this. She's on vacation, so I gotta cover. But I just want to sort all my apps again, because you can do pages and you can do sets. That alone is worth its weight in gold. So just having shortcuts to jump between your various sets or build various focus modes, that alone is worth its weight in gold. But you think about the actions that you can take that will just sort of help you, remembering to do your tweets, remembering to do your IGs, which is right now a pain in my butt, because, when you grow as a creator, you got to do the IG thing.
There's some like
fancy
do all kinds of cropping photos. That could definitely be part of it. I do think also, like, I want to talk more with people like all y'all and just work on it together, because I do think Shortcuts ultimately can be whatever we want to make it. I think also, like, telling Apple what we want them to add is something that they definitely would value from people who are actively interested in it, because I
don't think people know. So, you know what I mean? I don't think people know how much that the people at the farm pay attention, right? When we used to get, feedback at the store, or we would send something, to a radar for anything that was going on, you'd be surprised at how fast they make adjustments. especially if it's
exactly.
something that comes up. But what everyone has found out is fun for clicks, which drives me crazy because I know better. You and I both know better. And I guess Aaron said he's a former fruit farmer too. People, like, something will happen. People just run to YouTube. Oh my God, Apple's trying to kill us because so and so doesn't work and this, that, and this. And I'm like, my first question to them in feedback is always, did you send the information to feedback@apple.com?
Yeah, no.
No.
I do the same thing where I'm like, why hasn't Shortcuts gotten this? And I'm like, I've never actually asked for it. And like, I think specifically with Shortcuts, that team started when I was there. And so they don't have 20 years of problems and issues to go. I mean, they still have plenty of problems to fix, but like, it's all brand new and it's being created by people like us all the time. And so I think even I'm seeing comment that's like, I don't know what the heck's going on. Like, Shortcuts is so brand new that there's so much to learn, and that it does ultimately come down to like the community sharing this kind of stuff and seeing what we can play with, and then filing that feedback.
And
like, I
follow the
personally need
feedback,
to
yeah.
do a lot more. I
Well,
mean,
it seemed like Google Translate, right? A lot of people would say that, oh, Google Translate doesn't really work. And be honest, back in the day when it was kind of sort of stolen from Babelfish, it didn't work. But they have a section that says if you're a native speaker, you can fix this. And so you would just add and add and add and add. And now that that's been going for a couple of years, I'm quite impressed by it. Even what Apple just added with the built-in translate from a picture, that is mind-blowing. So I'm purposely finding everything in Japanese to check it. And I'm like, oh, this never going to get this right. Holy crap, it's right. It works.
you can
So I'm like,
automate all that now too, which is awesome.
you can do shortcuts with the translate stuff as well?
Yeah, I think they use Microsoft's API. I bet that's something they could add. They should file back to get them to add the native version.
Here's a good
it
question from
definitely-
the Queen. The
yeah.
Queen says, as a fairly capable Mac user, I was never able to get into Automator, and now I needed to start with the basics with shortcuts. Do you have resources in the membership? Yes. Why? Yes, he does. I'll let you answer that.
I was going to say, partially, at least, I'm building the stuff for the Mac version now. So that'll all be like fully out in the fall, and I'll be releasing more of it this summer too. Definitely, like, Automator itself, just to answer that part, is being absorbed into Shortcuts. And so Apple has, I'm pretty sure, made every action available from Automator in Shortcuts. And so that will be the way to use it for going forward. Like, you can literally import your Automator workflows. I didn't know that Automator, until I worked at Workflow, that Automator workflows are called workflows. That like literally Shortcuts was just Automator, and then they redesigned, or Ari and the team created it for iOS, and then now it's back, and so replacing that. But I'll definitely have sort of that
Automator
transition.
Is freaking incredible. I used to do the dumbest things with Automator because, Keely, so to your point, right? Back in the day, whenever you wanted to send images to WordPress before WordPress got good, right? Prior to 3.0, you had to size all your images. If you just didn't, you were in for a world of hurt because you'd run into PHP limitations with uploading images, right? So like going from first it was AppleScript. I would use AppleScript to resize all of these images, right? And resize on a 1024 was max back then, right? You never wanted to go bigger than that because that's all the screen we had. So it's like smell these images and resize them off the 1024 length, however long it was, just make it happen. And then we would get into things like renaming files so they'd be better for websites, stripping all the capitals out. So like I used to use AppleScript and Automator to just do things like adjust file names, and you'd be amazed at what you could do all the way back prior to even OS 10, what you could do with AppleScript and Automator. Now, I was lucky when I was at the company to know Sal Segoyan, so I should just follow anything Sal said. I would just try it, right? Like, you're talking like the dude that invented all of this. Sal Segoyan is like we exist because of him. He actually looks like Santa too. He's the Santa of this whole smooth, right? So you'd be amazed at what you can do right now with Automator. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, gang. Before we got Stream Decks and everything popping off really well with Ecamp, I used to use an AppleScript that would just basically press the buttons 1, 2, 3, 4 to change scenes for me on the fly. right? And it was just simple using keyboard commands, tell the application, Ecamp Live, come to the front, and then press these keyboard entries with the delay, and then we go back to the top and start the whole thing over again.
Yeah, exactly.
So what Automator did was made it visual so that, Keely, like you said, not having to be a pro, you can drag and drop it. And then Shortcuts made it iOSable. And then I guess they figured out we might as well bring it back to the Mac. And it's going to be even more incredible because they're giving you better, like Automator's hang up before wasn't always good at suggesting what to do next if you're not a programmer. So you had to go hang out in Reddit, which is Uji. But now, Keely, so number one, I would say check out the field guide from David Sparks. Number two, if you remember Rosemary from last week, I would say grab her book. She's just awesome. And, when you see her doing it on her and Micah's show, it's just easy to listen to. Her voice is much better than either myself or Matt. So she's very, very good at this. And then the other one would be the Shortcuts Guide, which comes with Shortcuts, which was written by some bearded, handsome dude.
I will say too, like all that. So Shortcuts, it is like pretty much entirely replacing Automator. So at least all of those things that you were saying, resizing and renaming files, like Shortcuts has been able to do that, and now you can do it all on the Mac too. And then you can literally run Apple scripts. There's a run Apple script action in Shortcuts, and so anything that isn't yet automated through the Shortcuts capabilities, you can still call like system events and things like that from Shortcuts, and then automate those interaction things. So like I'm trying to figure out how to trigger Ecamp scenes using my Stream Deck that runs a shortcut and that kind of stuff. Maybe that's even just I guess I could just do it straight from the Apple script, or I could have my own shortcuts too. Yeah, like all of that is all going to be it. Like Apple had a very specific line about how Shortcuts is the future of automation on the Mac, and that Apple script and Automator and JavaScript on the Mac will all basically eventually lead back through Shortcuts. So
let me give Paul the channel. I don't know why it did that, Paul, but let me check. Because in YouTube it should just work because we can call the @ symbol.
Should just be / Matthew Cassinelli.
Yeah. One of these days I'll learn how to spell. There we go. And
yeah. Patrice is mentioning too.
It's Matthew J. That's why.
I thought the main one should redirect, but Shortcuts itself is also scriptable from the terminal. There's like a command line interface where you can like run shortcuts using the terminal and any sort of traditional Mac capabilities. So that stuff is really powerful.
Oh, dude, the stuff that you're going to be able to add through Swift UI and things now, like, oh my goodness, this thing is really about to take off. It's already been amazing. You guys have done so much over the last couple of years, but it's about to get stupid. So
I'm so excited. Especially Mac apps can get shortcut support, so they can like, I want to import my files into Final Cut automatically or something like that. Got to get Ecamp all up in that with scene changing and everything. Like, you can run shortcuts from the menu bar. You can run them from the dock. You can put them on your home or on your desktop if you even really want to after you put them on the dock. So like, there's tons of ways.
See, you just gave me a brain fart. Okay, listen. One of the things that I do is when I start a project, I have been cheating and copying an old project and deleting all the stuff out and then putting it back. It just takes too much work, right? Like so files. I have a situation where I make a folder, right? So the folder is going to be called, Shortcuts 101. In that folder, I'll make 4 subfolders, right? Audio, video, B-roll, graphics, right? And so then I open Final Cut, I locate that folder, I make a project, save it into that folder, the empty project, and then go into the settings and make sure you set stay with the library, stay with the library, stay with the library,
Yeah.
stay with the library, all the way down, with the exception of caches, which I send to my ridiculously fast drive, and then motion templates, I let them stay in the motion area, right? And then I quit that project in Final Cut and reopen Final Cut with it in place. Right? So that way it now has made all the settings, and I know anything I import now will work. So I could actually make a shortcut that will basically just run that entire process. And once
Pretty
it
much,
quits Final
yeah.
Cut, it will wait for me to move all the assets into the right spot from the SD card, right? And then it'll pick all the clips, put the B-rolls, the audio files, everything in there. And when it opens back up now, everything is pre-keyworded, pre-tagged, pre-sorted. So that's been my Final Cut workflow for 5 years. But
Totally.
it's going to be press a button to just
exactly.
oh.
The folder structure specifically is one of the new ones that they just added. Let's like build that together, because I want that too. Like, I want to automate every part of your workflow so that I can just learn how you do it too. Because I think that,
It will. You know what this does for you? It will make your editing a lot better. Number two, it will help you if you decide to take your hard drive and plug it into your iPad and open up LumaFusion 3.0, which is dropping this week. Soon. And
I didn't
then
hear anything.
if you can make your changes and stuff, say on your iPad, because you just had to go. Wifey's like, hey, let's go somewhere, or your friends are like, hey, let's go. We're gonna go to the beach this week. Cool. If you want to drag your stuff with you, you'll have all your clips on the portable, right? Because everybody just carries around these little SanDisk things like I do. I have a library of these.
Oh no.
So you just plug this in, you can do your edits and stuff, and when you come back, you're kind of good to go. So, the only thing that matters was key in that process is naming your files properly. Well, most people fail at that part because that becomes the sticking point. But
It's
with
just annoying that
shortcuts,
you do it over and over again, and it's like,
you'll be able to press a button. It'll ask you the seeded input, like what do you want to call it, and you hit it, and it will generate and iterate and name everything properly, and you'll be like, oh my God.
I specifically just built that exact type of thing. It can even do it on my external hard drive for me too, which is cool. So like, you can connect to a remote server and then put the stuff there automatically. So like, this is awesome.
This is crazy. And Patrice is right. I remember when it first came out as workflow, so my little group of myself, Patrice, our other friends, Jerome, and my friend Topher, we were all like, yo, this is so cool. And then we were all just trying to press random things. And Patrice was getting bugged by us because she's the only programmer in the group, like actual programmer. So we're like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And then now it's just way smoother, way better. And again, like I said, I have really very task-specific rudimentary shortcuts, but now I'm just diving into it because I'm going to make myself know this, because once it goes to the Mac game, you have no idea how much better your workflow is going to be.
Exactly.
I'm even thinking about things like, for Karen to be able to hit a button on her Mac that says like open escrow, and it generates the folder and all the documents that you need to pull in, all of the subfolders for like contracts and like, repair vendors and all that stuff will just be in a single spot
It can
just by
make
pressing a
PDFs
button.
now.
Yeah.
Like you could, in theory, pull all the data using like Markdown, convert it into rich text, autofill the portions that you need, generate the PDF, like make versions of that and send it to the people. Like, I might want to check on it to make sure it's all right, but like, it can, in theory, you can do all of that. And it is like, I think the part about it coming to the Mac, and like, I don't want to disparage the iPad because I can still get so much done, particularly because of
It's my
shortcuts.
life now.
But the true desktop apps that require that kind of thing, once those adopt shortcuts, it is going to be like the power that we thought Automator was going to provide, but I think just ended up being too complicated a lot of times. I think now can really go full steam ahead. And then you can, like you said, you can just bring it back to your iPad or your phone even and get everything done on a tiny little screen if you need to. And so
it's going to come in handy too for, when someone books a show, right? I have to remember to go to Google and keep checking Google to see if it came in, right? But now I can, through Zapier, because Calendly and Zapier work together, I can have it trigger an action that will send messages to my phone and to my iPad that says, hey, someone booked a slot, and it will have automatically sent them the how to set up for your Ecamp.
Exactly.
Make sure you send me this or send me that. Or you can say, when you say, okay, I'll book a show, have it automatically send a headshot.
Yeah,
so
that's
something
great.
as simple as that. Like, oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. Okay. Kevin.
That's why like Rosemary's Power plus mine becomes like the web automation plus the shortcuts automation just gets wild.
Oh, that's crazy. Can you do this for content creator? Have it create the entire folder, subfolders where you put, that's exactly what I was talking about for A and B cams. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because Kevin, right? At the end, when I press stop, Ecamp is going to give me a folder. It's going to have the video feed. It's going to have the sound effects feed from, right? It's going to have Matt's audio and my audio already set up. Right. But when I open it in Final Cut, I have to manually put those into the right spots for them to be where they are, or drag them in and let them sort of move around. Right. But now I'm going to be able to say, watch this folder. When this folder is done, take the newest created item, which would be this show, and send those files into the right folders where they need to go in the Final Cut, develop the project, the whole nine. And then now I can steal little clips that I used to make Instagram stuff, So this is where it's, oh my goodness, this is crazy.
For me, yeah. Like I really want to get all of those just little parts that like just hang you up and you get stuck on, and then just make it so you can just do the creative aspect and not
Right.
spend so much time just like clicking in the file in the Finder app.
Yeah, Kevin, that's exactly what I mean. And Rich, I think what happens is apps do have to help a little bit, but there's a lot of stuff you can do even without their help. But most apps, just because of the way they're built, have some built-in Apple script and some built-in automator built in, because they have to in order to follow the quote-unquote Mac paradigm. If there's stuff that's missing, that's more API call, you have to ask for that, and then hopefully they'll add it. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
Patrice said that.
Like that adoption rate is going to be one of the questions, but I do think the Apple script part, at least if it's scriptable with Apple script now, you can just call that from shortcuts. So at least to start off, I think also Mac apps, because they've done that, they've done the work of trying to understand what parts of their app should be automated, whereas iPad apps haven't done that yet. And so it was like something extra, and like, is it or is it not worth it? I think shortcuts in general, there's been slightly slower development adoption because of that, like it only works on iPad thing. And so I think now there's like no excuses not to. Like it's gonna, I think, especially as the community adopts it more, like apps that don't support shortcuts will be like second-class citizens because they just can't do what we expect every app to do. It's like
there'll be a certain level of expectation, correct?
Yeah, you've got to have shortcut support. And so I think that's going to be a really big signifier and great opportunities for every app to be redone with the future in mind of automation being part of Apple's platforms. Is like,
what's funny is I've been slow bugging Ken and Glenn to add where I can read a text file. So this morning when I'm typing out, your lower thirds in that, I just wanted to read a text file. So I just want to put up variable holders at the top, and then I just replace the text file, because then I can scrub that out of the email.
Yeah, we could probably do that.
Yeah, or Airtable or something, right? I could just have it scrubbed.
Figma has an API, and so in theory, if I get the templates all set up, I could just pass in the image file, and then it would like export everything for me. So I've tried to do some of that. I mean, shortcuts can crop and do all that, so in theory, it could too.
It could do that. Yeah.
There's probably a little bit that is like pretty esoteric, but I think especially as more Mac apps support it, some of that stuff could be a lot easier.
Well, like you said, you do web development, right? So you think about
barely like
WordPress, PHP image editor. That's not the right word. It's called Image X, I believe. Anyway, you can have it in PHP, grab that and build it. It's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah,
oh God, Matt, thank you for blowing up everybody's brains today.
Yeah,
by all means, make sure you link up and hit the community, and then we will get you squared away. It's super easy. DocRock.live/group. I don't know why I
Nice.
forgot the simple word, but our group is like designed to help you unsmooth all of these things out, and then you will find out like these are the ones that I should be working on to be ready for September. And man, this is going to change your life even already, because I mean you're already known as one of the top shortcuts guys, but this
Yeah,
Mac
that's-
thing is just nuts. The
Yeah.
future is so bright, you're gonna have to buy shades.
I should have
See,
brought
look,
them on
you're
on
you're
this.
nerding out, Patrice. Dude, you know what was funny? Patrice, remember all you and Jerome and I would just be talking about like, oh, Vatici did this. Oh my god. Oh man. Okay, now I'm gonna go all iPad, and so we were so buzzed on it. So when I was watching this video where you were explaining how you got into it, and then you mentioned Federico, I was
Oh yeah,
like,
I
yeah.
learned from Mac Stories too. I learned the first Apple podcast I got into was Mac Power Users, and David taught me like how to be interested in this stuff, and then Federico was doing all the URL schemes and everything, and that's what got me into it. When they acquired, or when like Workflow tried to do their interactive widget,
Yeah.
and then they got banned from the App Store, and that's how like they got big, was Federico writing about that all. They have a screen recording of them getting a ton of followers basically because it was like big news, and you can see me following the Workflow account in the video. It's crazy. It's like, so just like, what are the chances that they captured that? And then I ended up working for them like a couple of years later.
Oh
So
man, that's so incredible. That's an awesome story. But guys, all you need to do is make sure you follow the Twitter account. Go to the website again. I think
I was gonna say, I have a Discord that I forgot to. Can I post in the chat, or will
Yeah,
it
yeah.
be-
Put it in there. Or-
I have like, I'm
I-
trying to build out a whole. Yeah, it might not work.
I
but
can let it through. Hold on. I gotta-
Basically, just to work on some of this stuff together. And I mean, I will join yours too and participate in everything. But I'd love to just work with people directly on this stuff, because I think it makes such a big difference. And there's so much too that like we can spend the next year working on it, and we'll still barely be tapped into it. But I just want to get it out more like this through streams, and
Right. Okay,
like
go
for
ahead
the,
and
I think
pop it in,
for
and then I'll
people who
approve
want
it.
it in a specific. Okay, here, let me do. I can just send it to you on Instagram real quick if that's.
Oh yeah,
easier
that
to-
works too. Yeah, man. I think like again the idea, even like today, just the simple, you're building live, but what happens when you build live, and this happens to us constantly, you're like, oh wait a minute, you can do this, oh wait a minute, you can do that. So it's kind of cool because it really helps out, and you can kind of see, oh, I know what I wanted to tell everybody before we go, because I did this yesterday and I was laughing with Matt prior to the show. I was like, dude, this Rosemary lady has just blown up my face. Hold on, let me go back over here. MATT Discord. Yeah, I spelled things out loud because I still did it wrong. There's like way too many T's. But
Don't worry
anyway,
about
you
it.
guys know what it is. You guys know what it is. So I'm gonna send you guys this link because this is freaking nuts, guys. So I was watching Rosemary on iOS Today from like last week, and she was talking about using NFC tags to trigger things in the house, so you don't even have to go click the shortcut button.
that's-
You can
forgot about
attach it to NFC tags. So one of the things that she did was bring up a bank card, right? Everyone's credit card now has the IC chip reader. Well, these are train cards from Hong Kong. It's called an octopus card. And they have a little NFC chip in it. I also have the EcoCast, as called an IC card, but in Japan they call it an EcoCast, and it also has NFC chips. So what I did was you go into Shortcuts and you say build a personal automation. It's in the middle where it says automations. So you hit that, say build a personal automation. At the bottom, if you scroll down, you'll see where it says NFC tags. The phone says, what NFC tags? So I just put this right behind the phone, kind of up by the camera, and then it goes, what do you want to call this? And I say, oh, I'm going to call this door. So I had it grab the Schlager and lock the door. So I could be sitting in the office, and now I can just glue this to the corner of my desk with some rubber cement. And then whenever I want to start a stream, and make sure that John and Tyson or my brother June don't come in and bother me, I can just hit the phone real quick over there, where I keep this anyway, right? Because it's where the anchor is charging. So when I put the anchor on the charger, it will smell the IC tag and the door will, and then y'all can't get in. And I'm just like, bruh, that was so cool.
What you need to do is add the action run script over SSH and have it turn on your computer also, so that it's literally right when you sit down, it could like remotely control your Mac, turn the screen on for you, set all the lights all at once, like that one card could do.
Oh, see, that's
and
genius.
It could launch all your Mac apps. It's like, that's where I'm trying to get some. It's going to take me a while but it's like, it's just full streamer mode and everything is ready. It can even, I even didn't remember, it can resize windows on your Mac, so you can have it like this is in the center, chat's over here, Ecam's on the left side. So
oh yeah, so we should start bugging Moom already and be like, look, Moom, we want to make sure that you have shortcuts for these window positions. You know what I mean? That's cool. Yes, I believe that the BART cards are NFC too. All you gotta do is just go to the automator thing and set it, and then just rub a BART card behind your phone real quick and see if it picks it up. The cool thing is you can still attach it to that BART card. Your BART card is not going to affect your BART card. It just needs the code to say that this is a real thing, right? But the tags, dude, you could buy 50 packs of tags for like $8. So
exactly,
they're out there. But
I've tapped into the BART API, so I literally can. I mean, I just have it with Siri. If I just say Ashby, which is like one of the stations closest to me, it will literally grab the train times and read them out loud to me, like from my HomePod and stuff. So
shut up. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. So Kevin, you can set it up that when you come out of the BART and then you pass by the last station using the location, it'll automatically turn on the house, turn on the coffee pot, like the whole 9 yards. So you walk in the house, you just like good to go.
Especially because the NFCs are unique to you. So I want to put hidden NFC tags. It's like in the BART entrance, there's just a tag that anybody can use, and that if you'd have to set it up, but then it's like you're in the station and you could run shortcuts, because it's like it's not gonna hurt anybody. It's
you just can't stick them to metal surfaces, these little dorky ones, because they get stuck.
There's metal versions. I have a couple. It's like I got it on my laundry machines to set the timers for me. I have one on my fridge that opens just paprika, so I can look at my recipes and stuff like that. It's like NFCs are very cool.
See, that's kind of genius, because you think about the AirTag is underneath the seat of the bike, you know, like hot melted glued, but you can also have it that when I walk away from this particular AirTag, drop a pin to know where the bike is, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
AirTags. I made a video where I want AirTags to be automation triggers, where it's like, if I'm not near this AirTag, then run my shortcut, because that's like I leave the room and the lights. I mean, I guess you could do motion sensors, but like if I'm not in a certain space, or once I enter my office, all the lights turn on and the computer runs, which is you can't do some of that stuff through home automations yet.
This it's only going to get better. Thank you, brother, for coming through. Guys, make sure you check out the Discord. Go to the website. Again, I'll update the descriptions and stuff so we know where everything is. And then if you get lucky and you bump into a random Matt live stream with him and Chris are just tweaking out, which I did the other day, which was super random, but it was so awesome at the same time. Because, that was fantastic. And don't forget, you guys, check out on Twitch if you're into your smart home stuff. I am still, Matt, I'll tell you, because I'm still desperately looking for a thermo that works for AC only places. I'm cursed because living in Hawaii, people that live in Florida, we don't use heat. Everything wants 24 volt C wire. I'm like, we don't use that, bro. All I need to do is turn on the AC, turn off the AC. And everybody says, oh, you have to build a relay system. And I was like, look, dude, I do not want to do that. You know, I don't, my dad's too old to be soldering stuff for me. And I don't turn on my Hako for anything but keyboards, my mechanical keyboards. So there's that. Anyway, so gang, thank you guys for coming in today. Matt, thank you so much for hanging out, bro. My head is exploded. Now I'm going to spend hours of fixing my iPad and trying to figure out some more focus modes.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
gonna be
would
like
say-
everyone in the chat. I'll have to watch my own replay over and over to
Yeah.
catch some of the myriad things. But yes, gang, don't forget Saturday we'll be here again doing more cool stuff. We'll probably be tweaking out on automations for at least the next couple of months because we're getting ready for that. And my mini in its Monterey is waiting every day, hoping for universal control. I swear I
Exactly.
tested it yesterday, so not yet.
I will say, like, if people are diving into this too, like, take your time. It will take a while. Like, setting this all up does take a lot of time, and that it can be a little frustrating. Like, Shortcuts itself is very linear, and so there can be just confusion on how things connect together. But I think that's why stuff like live and watching me mess up and redo it helps a lot, because then like,
Yeah.
the perfect YouTube video can show you what you can do, but how to do it and realistically and things like that is always a different
I think I
story.
learn the most when I'm watching you build it live, you know,
Exactly.
and then running into the things that you forget, like the otherwise statements, because you were passing like way too many birth dates or something. And then you're like,
Yeah,
oh no,
and
I
it's
gotta,
like, I run
there's
into
no
issues.
birthdays. Yeah.
It never works until it does, and then it's awesome. But until then, you're like, what is going on? So there's a
Dude,
learning
this has been
curve.
amazing. Thank you guys
Yeah.
so much. I really appreciate you guys. We will see you soon. Don't forget, Saturday, we got our Drop Squad classes if you want to come and hang out with us and just learn all of the things. And yeah, just come over here to the Buy Me a Coffee page. You can join as a member. You can take a single class. Or if you just need some one-on-one advice to get your stream set up and ready to go, that is where it all lives. And once again, thank you, Mr. Matt. I'm going to play a little outro song as soon as I find out what I did with it. Yeah, see, I should just put it on the stream deck,
Hey,
but
Siri, play my outro music.
never do, right? Oh, I can make a... what's the word I'm looking for? I can make a NFC tag that plays the outro song. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Theme music.
City
gang.
of mine.
This is great, man. I really, really appreciate
I
it.
love the city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine. How I love the city of mine. It never gets me down. Yeah.
I was born in the city, I was raised on its edges. My pop worked his life when it's complex. I found love in its center. If I could live here forever, think it'd be for the better.